Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. I'm Becca and I'm going to be doing a Q&A today, basically just to catch up with you and update you on everything that's new, everything that's going on in houseplants in my house, in the garden plans, in life in general. And I'm really excited because we haven't done one of these, I think, and it's definitely been a couple months. So I like doing just like a little update and hanging out video every once in a while, just to, you know, reassess everything. If somebody's new here, they can watch this and maybe get a better idea of like who the heck I am. And yeah, let's get into it. The first question is, if you had to give up one plant today, which would be the one to go? And honestly, I feel like I could part with a lot of my plants. There's only a certain number of plants, like maybe 20 of my plants that I have like a real attachment to, and I would take to the end of the earth. I'm joking, but yeah, like I don't have too many that I'm like super attached to, and I could easily get rid of them if I needed to. It would suck obviously because I'd have to rebuy them, and I really like the place that my collection is in right now. But I mean, I could easily get rid of some pothos, some Adansonii, you know, a few of my Hoya. There's not that many that I'm like, I need to keep this. So yeah, actually it would be more interesting to know which ones I wouldn't get rid of. It would probably be all of my Monsteras, my Albosingonium, this big old Adansonii here that's in all of my videos. A bunch of plants on the shelf are super special to me. So yeah, I think that it would be better to answer in reverse and kind of go from there. What is something you want to grow next spring and summer that you didn't get to grow this year? Okay, so I have a garden. If you're not familiar with my garden content, that stuff is mostly posted in the summertime and the springtime because that's really when you're growing. I did grow some fall crops this year, but I didn't really like pay attention to them very much or cover them. So far they're doing great, and it has frozen a few times. I don't know if they're gonna put out fruit. I mean, it's carrots and lettuce. The lettuce pretty much is done, but the carrots are still hanging in there. So we'll see if anything comes of that. I'm thinking it would be really fun to do a lot more berries next year because I really just, again, did the basics. I would love to grow more types of tomatoes because I love tomatoes. I had so much fun growing them. They were really easy. And then it would just be fun to grow, I don't know, like more pumpkins and things like that, like big pumpkins that I can have as decorations, and carving pumpkins and all that kind of stuff. Just to have that, I mean, it was really cool to have my little baby pumpkins around because I could, you know, people compliment them or comment on them and I'm like, oh, I grew that. You know, it's just really fun. So it's kind of like a house plant, but not. Like I loved the pumpkins for that. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like definitely a lot more food. I want to optimize the garden a lot more and like shift things around, add in more beds, but I kept it pretty minimal for my first year because I've never done this before and I didn't want to overwhelm myself. So definitely going to be working on adding more garden beds to do a lot more stuff, and I'm really excited about it. This question is, do you bottom water your plants? No, I do not bottom water my plants, mainly just because I feel like for me, it's not very effective. I mean, there's certain plants like an African violet or maybe even some peperomia, I really like it. And every time I mention this, I get so many comments from people saying like, oh, I bottom water and it's really great. It's just one of those things that some people like and some people don't. Like there's so many things in the houseplant community where it's like, you know, this works really well for me and this doesn't work really well for me, and that's just how it is. We all have different environments and all of that jazz. So to not go into it too much, no, I don't bottom water. I maybe would if I had a plant that was like extremely dry and was taking a long time to like uptake water like via top watering, but it's just not my go-to just because I don't want to, and I think that it's better for the plants to like have a flush. So I water my plants like in the style of flushing. I don't know if that's a style, but yeah, I just pour a lot of water over my plant continuously until the soil is completely flushed out, just to remove like excess buildup and all of that kind of stuff. And it also helps saturate the soil really well. And if you bottom water every single time, you're not doing that. So even if you do bottom water, you still need to top water every once in a while just to flush out all the excess like mineral buildup and all of that. What is your current favorite plant? This is so hard because honestly, to be honest, none of my plants are really doing it for me right now, and not in a way where I like want to get rid of them, but I just kind of am not excited about any single plant. I mean, my Anthurium clarinervium has had like a major 180 since I put it in the greenhouse cabinet. And so I'd say if anything, it would be that one because it is just looking so good. It's putting out lots of new leaves, which I was so worried about it for years because it was putting out leaves really, really slowly. And like the leaves were dying before a new one could come out, you know? So I was losing leaves. I was in the red zone and now I'm in the green zone, and it puts out a leaf, then it puts out an inflorescence, then it puts out a leaf. And usually if I cut off the inflow, it'll put out a new leaf faster. So yeah, that's something that I've just been doing, is when it flowers, I'll just cut it off because I don't want flowers. I'm not really collecting pollen because it's the only Anthurium in my collection that is actively blooming right now. If I had another plant that was blooming, like another Anthurium that was blooming, I would probably try to cross-pollinate them, but you know, the pollen wouldn't be good by the time another one would flower. And the only one that has ever flowered for me besides the clarinervium is a forgetii. I tried to cross-pollinate and it didn't work, so I think the pollen was old. Anyway, all this to say, my Anthurium clarinervium is definitely probably in that #1 position right now because I'm just like, I don't know, feeling kind of whatever about the rest of my plants, and I want to normalize that. I think it's definitely very normal to feel like neither here nor there about your houseplant collection sometimes, because it's normal. We can't always be like obsessed with plants at all times forever. That's super unrealistic and unsustainable, like for our minds to like be all in on one thing forever. So yeah, I mean, right now I'm like much more into my other hobbies, like creating and crafting and sewing and all of that. And my houseplants, I take care of them and stuff, but it's not like the light of my life right now, you know? What's the latest news on our planty trip? So I wanted to answer this question because a few months ago I mentioned how I wanted to organize a group trip for us to go somewhere planty, and I think the destination would be Costa Rica, and in 2022, obviously not gonna happen this year, probably late 2022 I was thinking. So I haven't heard back from the travel company yet. I did email them yesterday because I saw this and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to like check in on that. But you have to have a minimum of 100 people show interest before the travel company like takes you seriously. So either we didn't meet that threshold or I was supposed to follow up and I didn't. Either way, I followed up and hopefully I have an answer before this video goes live. And if so, I'll have some information on the screen and I'll have the link in the description box for you to sign up, just to say that you're interested, you're not actually signing up. What is on your plant wish list for 2022? Okay, so let me actually look on my Instagram because I have a highlight bubble on my Instagram that I sometimes update with a wish list plant. As I said earlier, I haven't really been like thinking about my houseplants a lot lately, other than just like taking care of them and maintaining them. So I haven't thought a ton about new plants that I would want. Also, I feel like I'm at max capacity for how many plants I can take. But if I ever came across like a gray Hoya, the Hoya carnosa gray ghost specifically, or even like the Hoya carnosa compacta gray something, I forgot what it's called, it starts with a J. If I was to come across one of those, I would be very into it. Let's see what else I have here. The Philodendron Majestic I have in my highlight bubble. I don't really remember this plant. I think it's like a cross between a Mamii and a Varicosum. Oh, it's a Varicosum and a Soderoy. And that would be really fun. I love big leaf philodendrons, so if I could get more of those, that would be really fun. Oh, I need to delete this. I have a Philodendron Biliaceae on here, so I can remove that because I have one now. And then, oh, a Philodendron Fleur de Beauty. I feel like these 3 plants have been on my wish list for a really long time, and like I could get them if I wanted to. I'm sure I could find them, but just the price that I would find them at, I don't know if it would be the price that I want to pay. So that's kind of, my wish list is a little bit stagnant because of that, and that's fine with me. Obviously, I have a lot of plants. I don't really like need any more. Like there just comes a certain point with owning houseplants where you have everything that you want, and like you could find others to want, but it's just like, I don't know, it doesn't feel as exciting as like trying to find an Alba Monstera for the first time. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's why I say try to collect slowly and achieve your wish list plans slowly, because once you complete your wish list, it's like, now what, you know? Okay, this next question is a little bit deeper. It says, how did you figure out what you want in life? And really the simple answer is I haven't figured out what I want in life yet. I have a sort of plan for what I want to do in the next couple of years, and then a plan for what I want my life to eventually look like many, many years down the line. Like, you know, in 10, 15, 20 years, I have an idea of what I would want my life to look like. You know, the major milestones, you know, I got married, I do want kids, not trying to have kids right now. I have so many dreams for my career, and I really want to make a video at the end of the year that sort of details like what I want my career to look like in the next couple of years, because I think that putting your dreams out there is a really great way to achieve them. And I've, you know, come across a lot of opportunities since I started doing that, just because I don't even know. Like a couple weeks ago, I said, who do you want me to collaborate with on Instagram? And, you know, there's a lot of people that I know and will definitely be able to collaborate with that were suggested. But then like the Sorry Girls was suggested, and XO McKenna was suggested. And those are all people where I'm like, they would never, ever collaborate with me. Like, why would they? My account is so small compared to them. But that's really, I don't know, like I have to not think that way because they could. And you might as well just ask. And literally all I did was put, yeah, I'd love to work with the Sorry Girls. And I didn't even mention them. And then an hour later, they followed me on Instagram and we messaged each other. That's not saying we're gonna collaborate, but it's just saying like it could happen. It's not that far out there. I kind of went off on a little tangent there because I'm excited. But anyway, the point is, I don't know what I wanna do. Like, I have an idea and I kind of am just going off of what feels really good to me. And I definitely like have a lot of privilege to be able to make decisions based off of how I feel. You know, like I'm not in a financially compromised situation, so I'm able to do that. I kind of just go off of what I'm feeling and really wanting deep in my heart and find a way to get there. I mean, I've always been a big dreamer. I've always had lots of long-term goals, and so I kind of just assess my long-term goals and think about all the steps I need to take now in order to get there. Long story short, long answer short, long answer long actually. I still don't know what I want to do with my life. I think that it's very good to have a career change every couple of years. I know not everybody is going to agree with that, but I personally find being in a single career for like 20 years to be literally the worst thing ever. Like, I think I would absolutely hate that. So for me personally, I will probably shift and change my life work-wise every couple of years. Okay, the next question is, do you move your plants to make room for Christmas decor? So no, I don't. I would pretty much just integrate decor into this room as it is now. And I don't know, I didn't decorate this room for fall. I don't think that I'll decorate it for Christmas. I do have a Norfolk Island pine that I'd like to put like little lights on, but other than that, like I don't really incorporate like Christmas decor with my houseplants, just because there's already so much going on in here. Adding on ornaments and lights, I think it would be way too much. But speaking of all of this, I am planning on doing a plant room makeover probably in a couple of weeks. Maybe that'll go live in January. I'm not exactly sure if I want to wait that long because it really needs it now. Like, this room is feeling very overwhelming. There's a lot of plants in here. I just kind of want to figure out a way to get more plants up off of things sitting on the ground and more on the wall, because I have a big wall right here. I'd like to utilize that more. So I'm sort of planning a room makeover for this space, and maybe if I have like more floor space, it would be cool to have Christmas decor. But anyway, point is, I'm planning a plant room makeover, and if you want to see the initial plant room makeover, I posted a video of that like pretty soon after I moved in, of what it looked like when I first moved here. And now it looks very different from that point, but it's fun just to see the room go from like a bare blank room to a jungle basically. So that will be in the works. Okay, fun one. What show are you currently watching? So we just finished watching Squid Game, and that show did something to me that was shocking. Like, I was so anxious in every single episode, but it was so good. And it was good in the way that like books I read in college were good. So it's not like, for me, it wasn't enjoyable to watch, but it was very interesting because I saw it as a commentary on society. I didn't necessarily see it as this like entertaining show. And like all the books that I liked in college were commentaries on life and society, and basically like criticizing how society works and showing what it looks like for people who are not the super rich and wealthy people. It was one of those shows that I watched and then I immediately went and read like 9 articles about it and like what other people thought, like basically like watching or reading people's essays about this show. I'm also watching Schitt's Creek. I'm really procrastinating ending it because I love Schitt's Creek so much. That show is my sense of humor in a nutshell. I find it so funny. Every single episode I laugh out loud, and when my friend visited, I got to like revisit the first season because she had never seen it, so I was watching it with her when she was here, and it's so funny. It is so funny. And I already know as soon as I finish it, I'm gonna rewatch it, but I'm just not ready for it to be over for me and like for me to know how it all ends. So I'm procrastinating. Let me know if you guys do that. Like if you're getting to the end of a show, do you start procrastinating ending it? Okay, I wanted to update about the greenhouse here because I updated on Instagram, but I don't know if all of you watch my Instagram stories. So the greenhouse, I mentioned, well, I filmed for a video that I have not posted. It was like my last garden vlog and I haven't posted it and I don't know if I will because I don't know, I might, we'll see. Anyway, point is, I found somebody to level the ground. Wait, I think I talked about this in a plant chores video actually. And I updated there. But anyway, I'll just quickly say, I found someone to level the ground. They said they might be able to do it before year end, like before everything freezes. They were not able to do it. I didn't hear from them at all, so I'm assuming it was because they didn't have time. I am going to call and like touch base with them just to make sure that's what actually happened and I didn't get ghosted. I hope I didn't get ghosted. I kind of doubt I did, but you never know, honestly. So yeah, I'm gonna check in with them, but it'll probably be a spring project. So all we have to do is get the ground leveled and then Daniel and I can build the actual structure, and building it ourselves seems to be the cheapest option. Like building it ourselves is gonna cost like under $1,000. And if I was to buy one like prefabricated, it would be $6,000-$7,000. With money savings like that, it feels very worth it to just build it ourselves, especially knowing that like we could learn how to build a structure. I mean, Daniel already knows how to do that. He's done that before. He's like built houses before, but for me, I've never done that. And I think that this would be a really great like low stakes way to learn how to frame out a house and like get it structurally sound for things to live in it. So I'm seeing it as an opportunity to learn something new and I'm really excited for that, and I will definitely keep you guys updated. That'll probably be happening in spring. Okay, this question is, was it hard to find sunrooms when looking for houses? Sunrooms in the part of the country that I live in the Midwest, they're very common here. They're not always air conditioned and heated, so that was really like the thing that I noticed a lot. Like a lot of people would have a screened in porch, and that's super similar to what I have now, except it's like open to all of the elements. I at least have walls and windows, so it's definitely more protected and very possible for me to keep plants in here year round. But it was not hard to find something like this here. Like I'd say 60 to 70% of the houses that I looked at had something like this. It was definitely a big priority for us, or for me more specifically, to have this. So we did tend to look at houses that had this or something that was similar. But in other parts of the country, like I know in Arizona, there's like something called an Arizona room. Those I didn't see as like a super common thing, especially with like new build homes. So it kind of just depends, but I'd say depending on where you are in the country, it's easier or harder. So I don't know, it's not really an answer, but yeah, it wasn't too difficult to find a place with a sunroom. All right, I think we're going to end it at that. So thank you very much for sending in questions via my Instagram question box. If you're not following me on Instagram, you definitely should. I put more regular updates over there. Obviously it's like a daily thing, and over here it's a bi-weekly thing, or not bi-weekly. If I post twice a week, I guess it's not bi-weekly though, that's something else. Anyway. I don't need to get into that. So yeah, I post more frequently over on Instagram just due to the nature of the platform. So if you want to see me more often, hear more about my life and what's going on behind the scenes, you can follow me on Instagram. It's just Dayla Plants. You can also follow me on TikTok. I never talk about my TikTok, but I do post TikToks every once in a while. That's also Dayla Plants. And subscribe to my channel if you're not already. And if you've watched this video and you enjoyed it and you've come to this point, you definitely should be subscribed, because my camera just cut me off before I said something so cheesy. I think my camera was like on your guys' side. That was awesome. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye.